Welcome to Chaos Divided, your weekly dose of wholesome hammer, where we explore the hobby, the game, and the lore of Warhammer 40k. We're your hosts, Nurgle Snurgle and Blushing Noise Marine. If you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to give us a follow. We've also launched a Patreon. If you're a fan of what we do and want to support us, you can find the link in the episode description. This week, we're talking about Hal-Con, 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 Hal-Con. Hype.
We are.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's what was written down, so that's what I read.
We've discovered there's a first take of this that you won't be hearing. But
we should put it in the bloopers.
Has Ron Burgundy syndrome, where she will just write whatever's written, and if I forget to change the description or the intro or something, she just reads it. So
it was because I messed up on the previous sentence, and I was so proud of myself for getting through it, and then I got hoodwinked with the...
Do you also play the jazz flute, though? That's the question our listeners need to know.
They want to know if I play the flute.
The jazz flute. Ron Burgundy plays the Yaz flute.
It goes... Diddly-diddly-diddly-doo, diddly-diddly-diddly-doo, diddly-doo.
I'm gonna go with that's a no. But we do have a quote this week, and I don't know how applicable it is. I picked the most generic of Warhammer quotes because I don't know if this episode's super about Warhammer.
That makes you think of Hal-Con?
No, it doesn't. That's like, if you can imagine, there's not a lot of Warhammer quotes that directly relate to a specific convention.
What about like giving speeches and inspiring the masses?
Yeah, this is inspiring.
Only in death does duty end.
That's inspiring.
Duty. That was when I played Darktide a little bit, and during the loading screens, it was like constant propaganda, and it was all about duty.
Because only in death does duty end.
And it's like, what is with the Imperium? Like, obsessed with duty.
Because there's nothing to enjoy. It's only duty. Have you ever read anything about the Ultramarines? They like eat, breathe, and duty. We'll say.
Oh, no, do they duty?
They do duty.
I'm so glad I'm chaos.
Did you know that Blushing Noise Marine and Nurgle Snurgle are going to be at Hal-Con?
Are they really?
They are.
What are they doing there?
They are. Well, you've got a jam-packed schedule, so I'm not even going to
attempt
all
I'm Nurgle Snurgle.
All the things you're doing.
I was trying to play along.
But we will be doing an introduction to podcasting.
Woohoo!
On Saturday at, is it 4:30 or 5? Actually, fun fact, you know what episode this is?
26.
Which means we've been doing this for half a year now.
Yeah. Oh, but then we have bonus episodes in there too.
Yeah, but we didn't skip any weeks.
We did.
Bonus episode. Speaking of bonus episodes.
High five.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, 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 whoop. You can't see it, but we visually gave ourselves high tens.
If you'd like to check out our newest bonus episode, it should be on the Patreon by the time this episode goes out. So, and it's our thoughts from our second GT of 10th edition.
Yeah.
All the spice, all the tears, all the salt.
Yeah.
It was actually fairly tame, I feel like.
I know, and then we finished the podcast, and then something happened where your placing changed, and I was like, we gotta get back to recording. We didn't.
We did find out after the fact that there was some scoring issues, and old Blushing Noise Marine ended up coming in third. So
best in chaos.
Best in chaos with my jank CSM list. It's a wonder I made it at all. So,
and there's 2 videos of you too.
There is. So if you would like to see my 4th and 5th round, you can go over to Wrath's Reach on YouTube. And
You're the
my game
Chaos
against
Space Marines versus World Eaters, and then Eldar.
I know there's a little part of me that was like, oh, I should say Emperor's Children, but Emperor's Children doesn't exist. Thanks,
No.
James Workshop. Um, but you know what? Honestly, the World Eaters game was an absolute blast. It was just like melee on top of charges on top of fighting, like an absolute just like point for point,
Slaughter.
just slaughter. Actually, you know what? Weirdly enough, the Eldar game also is that. Neither of us could really score until about turn 4, so it's a weird one. That one was
Nail
also
biters.
strange. I think our turn 2 scoring was like 18 to 24, which is pretty low. I don't think primaries got scored until like turn 4. It was a strange game.
Yeah. Well, that was like that Alpha Omega.
Yeah.
And then the Chilling Reign as well.
I think it was Chilling Reign, but yeah, it was. It's
So
the
the only
for,
scoring
like,
was in the
swings.
Yeah, the only scoring was in No Man's Land, and that was it.
Yeah, so there was very little score put up on the board, and there was a lot of nonsense, and there's a pretty critical mistake if you can spot it. We talk about it on the bonus.
Oh, right.
So I'll only allude to it if you want to watch the stream, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and the one and only Nurgle Snurgle also did very well. So
I was mid.
You did well, though.
Yeah, I did better than I thought.
You also definitely didn't bring the meta Chaos Demons list, and you did quite well.
I really like my list. I'm gonna redefine it, but I just love big demons, little Nurglings, beasts of Nurgle running amok. It's just too much fun. And then my opponents tell me that they're having fun. At least I hope that they are. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue with demons. I don't think I'll ever venture away from demons.
What about Death Guard? I feel like there was rumors of Death Guard time.
There's like sparks of me that like feel determined to do Death Guard, but it's just not my play style. I don't like shooting. If I was to play Death Guard, I'd want to play bloat drones, the Plague Burst crawlers, and probably Poxwalkers. I don't want to do Plague Marines. I don't want to do the Terminators kind of thing.
Fair.
And Mortarion, of course. I'd play it with him. But like I love bloat drones so much. Like I'd love to do a bloat drone spam.
What about also having Great Unclean Ones?
I could do too, yeah. I could do 2 Great Unclean Ones.
See? This could be fun.
That takes effort. I'm just not into it right now. Maybe in the winter when I don't have projects and I'm really bored, maybe I'll pick up a Death Guard.
You're never not busy. But yeah, did we figure out what our schedule is yet?
I thought you were looking.
Oh, I thought you were looking. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you were looking. So I guess I'll entertain with what I'm going to be doing. I'll be doing 6 panels. One will be broken into 3 separate panels, and that will be with Greg from Monkey Tree Minis. Our thought was to do separate panels about the beginning of miniature painting to the intermediate and then to like the expert levels. So we'll be touching on base coating and dry brushing in the beginning, and perhaps the whys and the tools that you can use, and then we'll get into the intermediate skill levels that will be touching more on zenithal and different types of pigments and paints, and then we'll go into the expert, where we'll be touching on non-metallic metal and freehand, and we'll hopefully that the tech will work on our favor, that we'll be projecting this on a big screen. So him and I, either one will be talking, and then the other one will be showing how to do it. So I think it will be the best way to display to a big room without having to supply a bunch of minis, but we'll show what we're doing, what we've learned, and give our tips and tricks. And if people have questions, like we're gonna do like a open dialogue, you can ask questions at any time, and we'll be happy to answer. I'm also doing another panel Friday night. It'll be a solo one, and it's just going to be talking about like my journey into miniature painting. It's called The Big World of Miniatures. I absolutely love the name. I think it's cute, but I want to talk about this huge community of it, what miniature painting has done for me and what I've taken away from it, and just to really inspire others to pick it up as well. Maybe not for themselves, but maybe with a loved one or with your kids. I absolutely love seeing kids enjoy this hobby. And so I'll be sharing that. And then day 2 will be the intimate skills with Greg. And then I'll also be doing a panel with Soul Ring MTG. And we'll be talking about, she does Magic the Gathering, I do Warhammer, but we also do that on social media. So we're going to be sharing our experiences being on social media and how to grow that community. And we'll be sharing our knowledge of, like, I'll be sharing my Instagram knowledge and she'll be sharing her TikTok knowledge, and I will kind of go into like how you can do certain things. I really want to show like how to make a reel or how to make a post or how to navigate Instagram and how to read the analytics. And then I'll be doing the introduction into podcasting with Blushing Noise Marine. That's going to be hype.
Would you like some times for any of these? I do have the schedule up now.
Well, just give me 1 second. Let me finish what I'm doing in the middle.
All right.
And then Sunday, we're going to be doing the expert level with Greg. I do know at 1:30 to 3:30 on Saturday, I will be playing on Extra Life Charity with Ash Barker from Gorilla Miniatures, and we'll be doing a help and hinder Warhammer game, just 1,000 points. But if you guys want to join in and help him or help me or hinder him, your donations will be going to the IWK. Really great charity. It's for the kids, so it's all around a good thing. So you can catch us then. I will be putting more of these times on my social medias and reminders and stuff like that. So that's my weekend. So what time will we be on Saturday, Laura?
Well, so it is 5:30. I was half right because it was one of the times I said. Yeah. So 5:30 on Saturday is the introduction to podcasting. So if you'd like to look a little bit behind the curtain and see how we've been progressing to this point and some of the things we've learned, and even if you're someone who's even tangentially thought about starting a podcast, we're gonna be starting from the beginning. So yes, it should be good.
This is for the person that like wants to or has always wanted to, because I will say, like, I've always wanted to get into podcasting. It's been like a dream to just kind of like sit and chill and chat. Like Jared and I used to do practice runs years ago, and it's just until recently starting the podcast with Laura and really understanding, yes, behind the curtains, and the joys of that. I want others to take their hobby joy and to intersect that into podcasting. So, and I'll kind of be talking like about our experiences and my whys, and perhaps guide others into their whys. And then we're hoping to show like how to do it.
Yeah, and I think, even if you're someone who is, maybe has just started, I think there's also going to be a little bit of ways to maybe level up what you're doing. We've learned a few things over the last few months, and
6 months.
I know, big time. And even if you're somebody who's coming from streaming, you might understand the sound side of it, but there's a lot that is different compared to streaming. Like, you know, we've done a few live shows, and like there's a different energy when people are chatting and you have some back and forth. It's a very different environment, just like sitting in a quiet room and talking into a microphone. So we'll be talking about that. And if you do want to check out Snurgle's amazing painting series, and also Greg is phenomenal. Everything I've ever seen him paint is like breathtaking. So I have had the privilege of playing against him a few times, and it's always his models light up the board. I will 100% say that. So 1:30 on Friday is the basic tutorial. 10:45 is the intermediate on Saturday, and then expert is at 10:45 again. So I hope you check those out.
Thank you. I'll be there.
Is at 5 p.m. on Friday. And I'm sad I'm not going to be there. I mean, I can't come in until Saturday, so I know you'll do well, though.
I'll record it for you.
Ooh. just for me. Just live stream to me. Just FaceTime. No, I'm excited.
Yeah. Have you done panels before?
Not in like nerdy things. So I've done them like professionally, but never. Well, I mean, technically we're professional podcasters at this point, but
you say we're professional?
Kind of. I don't know. We have a Patreon. We charge for our services. That's a profession. But yeah, so I have done panels before, and I have like presented publicly. So we'll see how it goes, because do
you picture them all naked?
No, I've always found that to be a weird coping.
It's very weird. Like, don't do that.
I feel that would just like make it more awkward.
Because then, are you also naked?
Right. That's not. I don't want that experience. I don't know what that is. Please don't do that. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about finding the narrative in tabletop games. So it's something we've kind of talked about on the podcast before, but bringing in a little bit more of my broader experience. If you can imagine, I'm a giant nerd, so I've played more than just Warhammer.
Laura, who have I been talking to this entire time?
I have been maybe known to play some tabletop RPGs from time to time, and even some board games. So, and one of my favorite things is finding those cinematic moments that bring us all together. Which is, you know what? I will say this, give you a little sneak peek. Dungeons & Dragons does a better job of that than like most other tabletop things. Not tabletop RPGs specifically, but like that whole genre does a much better job of finding those narrative moments. And I think we could all learn something from that. So if you can guess what my thesis is, it's pretty plain to see. But yeah, I've actually never gone to Hal-Con, because when I lived in the city, I did not have money for Hal-Con. And then it just always felt like it didn't make sense, so I'm really excited to go this year.
You ready for all you can drink Monster energy drinks?
I don't drink energy drinks on a day-to-day basis, so I'm okay with none. You can drink energy drinks.
If you are going to Hal-Con, there's a Monster energy drink booth, and they did this last year. Like, last year was like my second time going to Hal-Con, but this was my first time at the new convention, and they just handed out full-size energy drinks out like it was Halloween.
That feels bad.
Dangerous?
That feels like it shouldn't happen.
And you can have any flavor you want. You want the coffee kind? Do you want the fruity tropical kind? You want the no sugar kind?
That all sounds bad for you. Don't do that.
For you?
Is there anyone that benefits from drinking energy drinks?
I don't know.
Other than the shareholders of the Coca-Cola company. They benefit from you drinking Monster Energy.
Oh, did I not tell you that when you're at the panel, you have to like sponsor Monster drinks, and you have to do like a sponsor read during the panel? No.
I was gonna say,
The panic.
no. This voice does not speak. Sponsor reads without some little cash money, let me tell you. This grating nasally voice of mine does not read sponsor reads
But
unsolicited.
they have like a vendor section, which is awesome. Lots of time just browsing and checking out what they have there. There's some boardroom or like the board game room. That's really cool.
I know. I'm excited to see the extent of it because I know, like, obviously with COVID, it hasn't been around for a few years. I think last year it was back, but it was like somewhat subdued, maybe.
It was.
So I think this is the first like full on year of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really just excited to see like the extent of everything and just like see. I don't know. I want to see Halifax get a little bit nerdy, a little bit weird.
It's a good weekend to do that.
I'm here for it. And you know what? If you see me walking around, don't be afraid to come say hi.
Mm-hmm.
Not for Nurgle Snurgle though.
Ditto. You have to you have to talk to Laura first, and Jarrett, then Greg, and then maybe I'll talk to you. Just kidding. I'm so kidding. Hierarchy. I was so kidding. I'm just
you have to talk to Nurgle Snurgle people before you can talk to Nurgle Snurgle. Do you have security booked? Are you like being escorted from venue to venue?
Yeah. And I have an SUV waiting for me outside the door.
Love it.
With
it's not parked in the garage, so you just like you're not even seen.
Correct. Yeah.
No,
I go through the kitchen.
That sounds right. That sounds perfect. But no, it'll be great to meet folks and see what's going on. And I really do hope you check out some of the panels. And I'm it's gonna be a fun time. I'm looking forward to maybe getting in on some of these board games, and I think that the deck boxes you can like challenge Josh, and you can
there's a boss battle.
Fancy dice. Yeah, I'm like curious what that's about. There's gonna be a lot of stores there, so I'm hoping there'll be maybe some fun stuff to pick up. I'm bringing my kiddo actually, so Elliot's coming.
I don't know when the day is, but I know that you do a thing called baby races. And
it's on Sunday.
Okay, awesome.
Elliot does not move that fast.
You never know. She might just find her new groove.
That'll be the moment. That'll be the one time she's like, I'm not just gonna sit here. Actually, she has started to move. Today's actually, as we're recording this, today was her first birthday.
Ooh, happy birthday!
Yeah,
Elliot.
So she has started like crawling and like is like playing with like pulling herself up and stuff like that, but she's definitely like she needs a lot of confidence before she moves, we'll put it that way.
Well, we'll be there cheering Elliot, and she's gonna be like, look ma, I'm doing it.
We can only hope. So yeah, I'm excited to see that. I'm a little jealous that like she's gonna get to go at 1 year old, and I didn't get to go until I was 31. So she's a privileged little baby.
But it's just cherishable with you two.
I'm just joking. I'm not actually jealous. I'm a little, but it'll be cute to see her. I think we have a little blue dragon costume for her. I think we might be. If she'll keep it on.
Are you dressing up?
I'm not going to, no.
Okay.
But we might dress Elliot up.
Wait, you're not going to dress up as a noise marine?
I am a noise marine, and in my heart of heart and soul of souls.
Oh.
My voice makes people run away, so.
Oh.
I am a noise marine.
I'm blushing.
The Doom Siren is my voice. That's the best name for a weapon. Just like, you know what? Siren? You can make fun of like Emperor's Children all you want. Doom Siren, Blastmaster, Those are cool names for weapons.
They sound like boombox, like
right?
brands. Yeah.
Just like every time I do that, every time I play and I like use my noise marines, I go the like, all right, and now I'm gonna activate the Doom Siren.
The
and the
what?
Blastmaster.
Blastmaster 2000s.
It's true. The Blastmaster definitely sounds like a brand of boombox.
Yeah, Blastmaster 2000. It came out right before the Y2K.
Blastmaster 40,000.
That's even better. That was my opportunity missed.
It's okay. I miss every Nurgle shot, and I don't take them. So, but yeah. So no, I'm really looking forward to it. And do we have any other tangents to go on, or is this going to be a super short episode?
My focus is just like right now, Hal-Con, and
that's true.
Lots of talking points, lots of speeches, lots of connecting.
You're making me a little nervous. You're talking about making scripts and things, and I'm not a script person, so
you don't need to be a script person. Let me be the script person, and you can.
I'll just wing it.
Yeah, I have. And I need a script as listeners of this podcast and people who are aware of our tangents. I need a guideline, or I'm gonna be walking off the beaten track. Like it's, I'll ramble and ramble and ramble, and in my head, I will forget what I'm really talking about, and I don't want to do that in front of people.
You know what? Actually, I had a bit of an idea spontaneously as we're recording this. It is our 26th episode.
Okay.
We have hyped Hal-Con. We hope you'll join us. We would absolutely love to see you there.
We're there.
But maybe we could reminisce a little bit about the podcast.
Ooh, okay.
What was your favorite episode so far?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Oh my god. Honestly, all our guests podcast I absolutely love. I think I really loved the one with Lawrence because I've never really spoken to Lawrence, but so the questions were endless, and that could have been a 3, 4, 5 hour podcast because I was just so like,
I think he would have let it go that long too. I don't think he ever would have stopped us.
Yeah. So just like getting to know this community and hearing other people's stories and perspectives, I absolutely love, and I will continue to love. And I'm looking forward to the next person and the next person that comes on. If you want to come on the podcast and ramble with us and go on tangents, you can hit us up. But yeah, I would say like maybe not one podcast, but that's definitely my favorite type that we've been doing. What about you?
You know what? The interview ones are definitely some of my favorite because I feel like I always learn a lot. Getting to hear how other people see like the game and the hobby, and it's always a kind of a wonderful way to view this thing that you have a lot of ideas through a different lens, which I really, really enjoy. I mean, getting to chat with Tanya was like a bucket list moment for me. That was just kind of that was really cool. But outside of the interviews, I was trying to think, and you know what? I actually think the first Trader Primarch we did with Jarrett was probably my favorite overall. I mean, we were talking about Angron, we were talking about Fulgrim, we were talking about like it got like passionate, and I think it showed me how much fun you can have with the lore and just like talking about it and getting excited about it and really like showing it off. And I think that was kind of the moment when I was like, oh, I think there's like something to what we're doing here, because it was like it brought more out of me than I thought I had.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like when I talk about like the interviews, I also lump in the ones with Jared. Like when we have a guest on, that's
Hmm.
where it makes the perfect trilobe of just like bouncing ideas and having the hobby feels out there.
That's fair. I know the ones with Jared, I feel like that he's more on as like a subject matter expert. So I was kind of like they're a little different in my mind because we're not necessarily talking to Jared, we're talking about like a topic.
You know, it's great because like I've talked about how I got into Warhammer, and one of the ways I learned about the lore was obviously through Jarrett, and now you can see why. And he would tell me these stories, and he would tell it to me like these bedtime stories, and I would sit there and I'd ask these crazy questions and then almost like a child and be like, and then what? But then these guys don't like this guy, but like why? And then he would just elaborate from there. And it's great to like be able to show that to you and to the listeners in the audience as well. The little lore, um just like the fun of it, the stories of it.
hmm.
And
It's
like
really it
even
brings a
like the
lot of
interpretations, like we all have our own interpretations. Like we do rag on ultramarines because you and I have that commonality with it. Whereas like some people see them completely different.
yeah, there are people who somehow look at Ultramarines and are like, that's cool. So, power to
Sorry.
them.
I'm so sorry, ultramarine lovers. We love you too. You can rag on Nurglings and say that they're gross and disgusting. That's how I feel about Ultramarines.
Well, only in death does duty end. So,
Duty.
um,
Stop with the duty.
when there's
That's my
Ultramarines
new
around,
that's my
there's
new
endless duty.
that's my new protest. I'm gonna have a Nurgling with a picket sign. Stop the duty.
Wouldn't a Nurgling want more duty?
Yeah, but that's the wrong duty. It's like they've been like,
Oh, they've been
yeah,
misled.
they showed up for duty and they're like, I'm ready for duty. That's not the duty I wanted.
They're like, this is boring. This sucks.
Exactly.
I don't want to do this.
Where's the fun duty?
Why am I just standing here? Yeah, I guess what would be your favorite, maybe non-interview episode?
No. The Snurgle story times and talking about the bunker.
Oh, those are two different episodes, but I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Okay. Story times. I like tangible story time podcast.
That's fair. You know what? Very Snurgly story time was probably one of my favorite ones to record. That's for sure. I don't know if it's my favorite episode, but it is definitely one of my favorite ones. And actually, you know what? When you came back from the bunker, you were so stoked. It was really cute.
Yeah.
It was like too wholesome. You were just like,
I felt
like
I was beaming inside and out.
I felt like you came back from like a religious excursion or something. You had like a spiritual event in Welland, Ontario. So
Of all places.
it involved butterflies and I don't know what else, man. But you came back
Yeah.
different in a good way.
Well, I think it's quite evident in that video of why.
You know what? It was only the one complaint I would have is it was too short. I feel like it was very clipped. Because like when we talked, like you spent like you spent 10 days?
No, just a week.
Okay.
But there was only like 2 days of filming. But yeah, like that's hours and hours and hours and hours of footage.
So you had more than 15 minutes worth of like gas in the tank, we'll say. Like I feel like you came back and you were at a 12. You were at a 14. You were hyped. You were oomphed. And yeah, I feel like the 15 minutes wasn't enough to contain that. So,
what about you?
You know what? I actually really liked and I almost want to kind of revisit it someday. I really liked our first episode. I really liked the
Mm,
idea of actually talking about 40K as wellness,
yeah.
which is interesting because I see other folks talking about that now. We were a little ahead of the curve on that one.
I have noticed that. I've
I think,
seen Warhammer and therapy and
yeah,
therapeutic next to each other, so
I think Tabletop
yeah.
Tactics did a podcast on like Warhammer
Oh,
and
did
mental
they?
health. So
Oh.
we're 6 months ahead of them on that one. Um,
You know what? That's actually a great idea to revisit the pilot.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I really like that actually, because I would say in the last couple of months I've picked up even more like therapeutic practices, and one of them is doing this podcast.
it's true. It gives you like it's a creative outlet, but also there's like a mental exercise you go through in like conducting your thoughts enough to like talk for an hour, and it
Mm-hmm.
does kind of put some order and focus into your head.
Mm-hmm. And reasons like, oh, this is why I like this so much, and it's like almost little
Yeah.
reminders.
Well, I think going back to like the interviews, I think getting to share it with other people
Mm, yeah.
is a huge part. Like, I think it really, for me, the podcast kind of reinforces the community element. Like when I see like a new answer come in from one of the questions I put on an episode, like I get excited. Or like when we do
Mm-hmm.
the pre-show and we have the chat, like
Mm-hmm.
I get excited to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Or when people post in the Discord, like it's
Yes.
really nice to see the back and forth and the connections and like people that would not know each other without Warhammer, like
Mm-hmm. And they're
making these
liking each
connections.
other's pictures and just, yeah,
Yeah.
it's wonderful to see.
And like even beyond just like, oh, that's cool, it's like you're getting to see someone kind of show what's on the inside as well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're expressing themselves and you're getting to see that kind of in real time. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I didn't think when we started this the podcast was going to mean as much as it did.
Mm-hmm. Because not only that, I've seen the growth in you as well when it comes to your paint
Get
style.
out of here. Get out of here.
I remember a
No.
little blushing noise rain say, I have no artistic style. I'm not artistic. And not only did you find your paint style, you've also been asked about your paint style.
I know.
And I saw it on the table at the GT and it looked phenomenal. Like it was like, yeah, that's a rockin' Emperor's Children. Like it was
I know. You
loud,
know what?
it is in your face, and it's cohesive, and it's raw.
You know what the only problem is now? I gotta paint everything else like it.
Hope you enjoyed it.
I'm, yeah, I also saw that, and I was like, when I was looking at the table, and I have like my purple and gold Emperor's Children versus like the color cacophony, like ridiculousness, and I'm just like, oh, one of these things looks so much better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, oh, I have to not well, honestly, yeah, it's gonna end up being almost repainting, like, I don't know, 50 miniatures.
Why though?
I mean, okay, I did intentionally leave, but like my Legionaries and Noise Marines and Terminators aren't super done.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me was kind of hoping I would get better as I got through this.
And now you found
Um,
your style.
yeah, so I think, like, realistically, other than the fact that they're also trimmed, like I could go in and like apply other colors and do the dry brushing that needs to be done on them and like the washing to get them caught up with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to do it at some point. I'm working on Shellaxia right now, so
Mm-hmm.
I might have started that, and it is
Did you
coming
think
along better than I expected.
did you think 6 months ago you'd be working on a greater demon?
I did not, and I didn't think it would look as decent as it does.
I'm so proud of you.
I was highlighting a single titty today, so it was because there's only one.
Oh, and Garrow enters the chat.
He's he's like, this is my time.
Highlighting
Did someone
what?
say kitty?
Kitty or titty?
But yeah, and honestly, I do credit some of the confidence to paint more on. I mean, you've definitely pushed me every single episode we've recorded, but also getting to hear other people's stories and some of the guests we've had, and even people that have come up and talked to us about the podcast, and hearing how it's kind of given them the confidence to also paint. It's kind of like, well, then I should, if I spend this much time with Kaylee, I probably should actually start doing this thing, I guess, and then moving on from there.
And now
How about you? How's it changed Warhammer for you?
It kept me into the hobby because I'm quite transparent with it. Like, at that point, I didn't know if I was going to continue Nurgle Snurgle. I was on the brink of just like, you know what? I don't know if this whole thing's for me. Maybe I'll just get back into kitchens and pursue that life, and then just kind of shut down Nurgle Snurgle. And then a little fairy came into my DMs. It's like, hey, do you wanna do a podcast? I don't know if I'm ready for that. If you want to set it up and we'll record for like 10-15 minutes, sure, I'll show up. And then I show up, and 45 minutes later, well, that was fun. Let's do it again. And then we did it again, and then we did it again, and then I felt that spark that I've been needing to ignite, and now I love this hobby even more than I have ever loved this hobby. I love it more, like, right today, and I keep loving it more, and I want to expand more in it and just have fun, make cool Nurgle, and just and engage with everybody. It is the coolest thing right now in my life, at least.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually looking back, and episode 4 was finding your hobby joy, and I remember that being kind of one of those changing episodes for me, where I maybe that was when I started finding my hobby joy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was very much
the light bulb just got a little bit brighter.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot to kind of just push yourself over from it being a chore to it being enjoyable. But
yeah,
that's the only one that the quote is from you, and it's that art cares only that you do.
Oh,
I've tried to hold that in my heart a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you were talking about how it doesn't feel like a chore, and that's what I started to realize after our weeks together. It's just never saw it as a job. It's like, hey, we're just talk about Warhammer, and that's gonna just be my release for the week. Yeah, it's such a joy, and I think that's why I really wanted to do the introduction to podcasting at Hal-Con, because if we have found that joy within ourselves, imagine what other people can find within themselves. And that's why I just want to spread that love and give them that encouragement. I think it's I think you can find benefits for yourself by doing it.
It was kind of the moment when I realized we might have some secret sauce here. Was when we interviewed Tyler, and I feel like at the end of it, he was like coming down like he just like won a 5-round GT.
Yeah.
Like it felt like, you know, like his excitement was palpable.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was like, I don't get to talk about Warhammer that often. And like, you know, like he's a busy guy, and he just got to just like unload about this thing that he loves. And I realized that like we get to do it every week. And you know, it not that it's become routine already, but you're somewhat like, once it's something you have, so it doesn't necessarily like feel as distant. But then when you realize, like, you know, not everyone does have that type of outlet. And you know, I'm hoping with that introduction course, maybe, or panel, it's not really a course, some other people maybe access that excitement, or even put themselves like, I've also really enjoyed, since starting the podcast, like, you know, doing guest spots on like other podcasts, or being on other, like, working with other content creators. It's a different type of like, it's a different experience than when you're just like invited onto something, because you're able to kind of bring a part of what you also do with you, which is really cool,
and share that.
Yeah.
And that just grows the community more and more.
Yeah. And it's always been, I mean, maybe I'm somewhat lucky, but I haven't grown into anyone who's like negative yet. Everyone's always been like very positive or excited, or, you know.
I think we're doing something right.
We figured something out.
Yeah. The secret sauce, which is mayo and ketchup.
Is so funny story. Talking about mayo and ketchup. When I was a teenager, I worked at Wendy's.
Okay.
And this guy came through one night, and he was like, "Hey, I want some Baconator sauce on the side." And I was like, "Man, it's only mayonnaise and ketchup." And he's like, "No, it's not mayonnaise and ketchup." And I was like, "I don't know what to tell you, but that's what it is." And he like fought with me for like 5 minutes about how Baconators have a special sauce on them, and he like would not believe me that it was just mayonnaise and ketchup on a bun.
Whoa. Don't crush the man's dream.
Right? I was like, I don't know what else to give you. He was like, he wanted that sweet Baconator sauce, and it doesn't exist.
I worked at a convention center, and sometimes we'd have to live off chicken fingers and fries, because like that's like the quick thing to make. And I would work with Jared at the time, and he'd be like, "Get the fancy sauce," and it was just mayonnaise and ketchup.
Which, you know what? It makes a solid sauce. Like,
I know, right?
Like, chemically, ketchup is like one of the like perfect foods, because it's a fairly well balanced representation of like your vinegar,
sweet, yeah.
That's why ketchup is so popular, and then like mayonnaise is umami, so
and creamy.
Yeah. And it like, texturally improves, because it's it makes sense.
Chaos divided. Come for the Warhammer chats, stay for the food tangents.
Well, I mean, we is what we is.
Yeah. We say what we love, and we love what we say.
There we go. A little snargly story time. A little retrospective.
Yeah. That was nice.
You know what?
That was really nice. I think that was appropriate. And I hope who's ever listening enjoyed that.
I really didn't, you know, as we were getting closer to it, I was kind of like, I don't know, half a year doing this. It doesn't feel like half a year.
No.
It doesn't feel like 6 months have passed. So
6 more months. We'll head a year.
Oh, you were signed up for a 5-year contract in like episode 5. So
did I sign it in slime again? Damn it!
It's recorded. You promised. You promised me we'd be doing this 5 years from now. So
can we have a birthday, like a 1-year birthday?
It'll be next May, but yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Will we have a cake for it?
You have to have a cake. Yeah. We'll bring on all the guests we've ever had.
I don't want to figure those logistics out. I was thinking maybe we could like record it, to actually in the same room, and maybe we'll have cake or something. But
That's a
that
good idea.
my idea sounds a little bit easier than your idea.
Oh. You don't want to do like a 24-hour stream?
Ask me closer to it. We'll see.
I was like half joking.
Because I'm trying to think of like Tanya and Lawrence alone have an 8-hour time difference. So I don't think we can.
They'll need to figure it out.
I don't think we can. We will probably have more guests in that time.
Yep, that's the challenge.
So I don't think we can promise all of them in like a 1-hour episode.
They got 10 minutes each.
Like, I don't know if that's rewarding for anyone.
But if you're in the Discord, I'd like to know what your guys' favorite episodes were.
Yes, you know what? I'll make that the question.
Yeah.
And actually, before we wrap up, we have had some responses from.
Yay! Thank you for your responses. Do-do-do.
So we have. What are your favorite memories from your early days of Warhammer?
Mm-hmm.
So that was from a couple episodes ago. So that was from the Grimdark Guide, and Ulfgar the Awful, cherished
Ulfgar.
Discord member. Said Floorhammer and learning all about the Death Guard.
Good old
Love
Floorhammer, where the the older you get, the worse it is on your back and knees.
Right? Like I don't know how 16-year-old me played Floorhammer, because playing on a table with chairs available for a GT is enough to make me not able to stand the next day. So
the worst is I like to put my case on the chair so that I could have it higher up so I don't kick it by accident, or if someone else kicks it, and then I'm out of a chair, so I'm just leaning and I do the knuckles into the to the table, and by the end of it my knuckles are all red because I'm pressing in.
You know what, I don't think I sat down for a single round this tournament because it was just intense.
Yeah.
And what was it, Saturday night? I woke up in the middle of the night and my feet were just throbbing. I could feel the blood flowing through them, and it was not good. But yeah, I mean, I was fine by Tuesday, but I can't imagine Floorhammer anymore. And for last week's episode, I asked what makes your hobby unique, and we already had 2 replies, so I'm gonna read them.
Yeah.
Philly said purple, 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 but for real. I need a Warhammer podcast or video, a drink, and a few hours to unwind.
Oh, classy.
I know.
Nice.
I'm thinking
I love
he puts on the Chaos Divided record on the gramophone, spins it up with a glass of scotch and a cigar.
Fire. There's gotta be some sort of fire.
Has a house coat on. He's just I think it's time to paint my miniatures. I hope that's your setup, because that'd be
only
wonderful.
The finest brushes and wow.
Yes.
I love it.
It definitely sets a scene. And then Ulfgar the Awful also wrote in, my hobby is my own. I do it my way, in my own time, and answer to nobody but myself. It is fully my own realm of chaos, and subject to my whimsy. It allows my soul to fly.
A little bit opposite from each other. I love it.
Though, I like the sentiment.
Yeah.
I like it allows my soul to fly. Because I also know that Ulfgar is a big Nurgle fan. And when you think of, levity and brightness, Nurgle doesn't also immediately come to mind. But yeah, the 2 of you changing the story for Nurgle.
There's reasons.
No, that's beautiful.
I think I've shared that my idea to allow it to be so colorful is that they are freshly in Nurgle's garden, and then the more that they go out there for the wars, that's where they doll up and get all green and gross and pukey.
Have you ever done
color. A traditional
model that way?
The traditional green doll? Never. I don't think. I think like if I was to try to, like my hands would just start to tremble because I don't know if I could not have bright colors.
You don't want to do like John, the salary man, great unclean one, who's just like churning it out day after day, fighting Nurgle's fights in real space, and it's just like,
You know what? That's
you know what? You could like make him the palette green, but then give him like a suit and a tie and like a briefcase, so he's just like going to work, punching in the clock day after day.
and Mrs. Nurgle is just like on his nerve.
Yeah, just, it's like corporate Nurgle has to go to. He's just like, I've got a 3-hour commute into real space every day, and he's like, Jenkins wants those reports by Thursday, and
that sounds like a miserable life. Who would ever live a life like that?
A great unclean one who's he's fighting the fight.
No, my great unclean one, he's the best papa. He comes home and all the Nurglings go, Papa! And then Mrs. Nurgle's just got her cauldron making the stew, waiting for the hubby to come home, and she pecks him on the cheek and wipes the slime away. Yeah.
Does wipe slime away or add slime on?
Okay, add slime on. I didn't.
Yeah, I feel like that's more like, oh, you got a little dry patch there.
And he goes to each Nurgling and he goes, Hi Nurgling 1, hi Nurgling 2, hi Nurgling 3, hi Nurgling
They're still not named. He like couldn't be bothered.
they just keep pumping them out, right? So.
Well, like you're not that important to me.
But you're either number 1, you could be number 7, you could be number 77.
To see this, how you end up with Primarchs. Apparently, the Emperor refers to the Primarchs as just numbers.
Do they really? Does he really?
Yeah.
Primarch Nurglings. I like it.
Oh, now I'm picturing Gulliman as like a Nurgling.
Yeah.
But still that tall. But with like the big flaming sword.
Yeah, is it the body of a Nurgling? And the head of a Gilliman?
No, he's just a Nurgling with that intricate armor, but he's still only like a quarter inch tall.
Is it the attitude of Gilliman or a Nurgling?
No, it's a Nurgling holding a giant flaming sword. It's like, you could even like use Gulliman's sword. Like it could just be a sword that is like 6 times taller than him.
Okay. Deal.
Then just like in his like ultramarine with like the wreath on his head, then for the Nurgling.
Is he doing it for duty?
Oh, absolutely.
Duty.
Because only in death does duty end.
Well, not for Nurgle. Duty just flows.
Well, because you don't death. There's no dying when you're a Nurgling.
I'm trying to make a poop joke, okay?
No. You've been trying to make it this whole time, and I haven't let you.
Darn it! That's the other reason why I like podcasting, is you get to make poop jokes. Okay, yes, with that.
Shall we wrap this up?
Yeah.
We're now 35 minutes into our tangent, so... But yes, hope to see everyone at Hal-Con. Check the schedule. Love to connect with folks. And in the meantime, I want to thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to Chaos Divided, wherever you're listening, and on Instagram and YouTube at Chaos Divided 40K. You can find us both on social media at Nurgle_Snurgle and at Blushing Noise Marine. And we hope you'll check out our Patreon. If you're a fan of what we do and want to support us, you can find the link in the episode description. And until next time, bye-bye.
Ciao for now.